All right, what's up? What's up, people? We're back with another edition of the Leo G Show. I am Leo G, and we got another good podcast for you tonight, man. I'm glad to be back. This is now the Leo G Show featuring my man Banks and my man Derrico, and I got my man Banks with me tonight. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Leo G? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. We're gonna do another podcast. We're gonna try to make it quick, man, because we're running up against some time, right? Because it's opening night, right?
Opening night football week. Let's run it, baby.
Thursday night football coming to you live tonight, man. NFL, as we record this, is going down. Banks' second favorite team is playing tonight, right?
Negative, sir. Negative, sir. You tripping
Okay.
hard. If
I
you
thought you had
think
told. I thought you told me at one time.
you better be talking about Tampa Bay, brother.
Also,
You
Tampa
and
Bay,
not
Tom
look.
Brady,
I don't no. I would stomach Tampa Bay, but you better not associate my name with them cowgirls.
America's team, man.
Not
It's
my
America's
team.
team.
Not
It's
my
America's
team.
team. Okay.
No,
All
might be
right.
your
So
team,
anyway,
brother.
man. Man, like I said, man, shout out to Banks' second team, and anyway, we're gonna keep it moving, man. So NFL is back. Week one starts tonight. Tampa Bay versus the Dallas Cowboys, man. As we record this, it's about to go down in a few minutes. We're excited about that, man. So we got a podcast tonight, Banks. We're gonna talk about a couple of things, really quickly, so we can get in there and check week one out, and then we'll come back to you and let you know how we felt about the week one action in the NFL. But before we get into the podcast, man, I want to give a couple of shout outs, man. First of all, I got to give a shout out to my man Derek Cole. Obviously, he's not with us tonight, man. He has some personal stuff that he got going on, so he'll be back here hopefully on the next episode. Shout out to my man Derek Cole, and since you're not here, we gonna still throw some shots at you, dog. So yeah, you're gonna have to get back in here to defend yourself. You know what it is. You already know. So big shout out to my man Derek Cole. Another shout out I want to give to is my man Rob Bridges, man. Shout out to my man Rob Bridges, Big
Big
Rob.
Rob.
Man, for blessing us, man. He blessed us with some new graphics and some new stuff for the show, man. So definitely want to send a shout out to him, man. We appreciate him, you know what I'm saying, with the Leo G show. Also, man, want to shout out Miyagi Beats, man. Can't forget about Miyagi Beats with the fire intro song, man. And we've been rolling with it. And that's what's up, man. So we moving right along, Banks, and we're gonna get right on into the show. We tried this a couple of minutes ago, but we had some technical difficulties, so we're gonna move through it and get right into it. You ready, brother?
Let's roll it.
All right, man. So first thing on the agenda tonight, man, week one college football, man. Last week over the Labor Day weekend, it went down. Banks, was there anything that surprised you or shocked you, or did you just have fun watching all the matchups on last week?
No. I had a lot of fun watching all the matchups. Nothing really stuck out to me. You had a lot of marquee matchups in the beginning. You know, you had the Miami Hurricanes versus Alabama. You had Clemson's versus Georgia. You had Florida State versus Notre
And
Dame.
Notre Dame.
I wouldn't really call that a high profile game, but it was up there. So I mean, it was a week where you kind of got to feel a lot of teams, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Also you had LSU go out to Cali and
UCLA,
play
yeah.
UCLA.
Hmm.
So you had a couple of nice decent games during the Labor Day weekend there. So really quickly, Banks, you talk about the high profile games. Let me get into that for just a second. These high profile games have become something new or something of the norm now. 5, 10 years ago, you didn't see these high profile games starting out the season so early. We used to call week one the cupcake week, the powder puff week. All your big schools would pay big money to have these, less, small schools come in. So they could basically get like a scrimmage game. But now it's become the norm to where you say, hey, okay, like you said, the Georgia versus Clemson's, the Alabamas versus Miami's, the UCLA's versus LSU's. Some of your higher profile teams are now taking week one to make a statement. And I feel like that could be, I don't know, a double-edged sword. How do you feel about these week one opening matchups? These kickoff games, these kickoff classes that we have now.
It's necessary, Leo. I mean, yeah, it is a double-edged sword. You know, you go out there and you schedule these powder puff schools and you get warmed up and then you don't see what this team is really made of until like week 8, week 9, week 10. And then let's say you go 11-1 and you went through your whole schedule without no competition. And when it's time to start, selection Friday or Saturday, whatever it is, they leave you out because you didn't play anybody. Now, granted, you play someone off the rip, you kick your season off with a high profile game and you win. There you go. You off and rolling. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword, Leo, because if you lose that game, it could kind of derail your season. So I mean,
It can. It can.
so
It can kind of put you
it's
back, man.
I would rather have it that way than being left out the whole playoffs because I didn't play anybody.
Play about it. I get it, man. So I mean, we had some good games on deck, man. So right off the bat, we're gonna talk about one of the actually, I guess the marquee matchup, man. That Saturday night, it was Georgia versus Clemson up in Charlotte. The Duke mayonnaise, really, we couldn't come up with any other. The Duke mayonnaise kickoff classic. A side note, man, it was funny, Banks. Just a really quick side note before we move into this, man. College game day was there in Charlotte. They had, you always have these crazy nuts up there, man. It was a guy up there, literally on college game day. They had one of the big Costco gallon size jars of Duke's mayonnaise, and he literally slathered himself in Duke's mayonnaise on college game day while they were up there, man. And then during the game, I don't know if you saw this, Banks, but there was somebody in the stands that had another gallon-sized Costco Duke's mayonnaise jar and was eating mayonnaise straight out of the jar. I thought that was rather
disgusting. Disgusting.
I don't know. This is a side note, man. I just had to talk about it before we talk about the actual game itself. So, yeah, Duke Mayo, kickoff classic, Charlotte, North Carolina. The Georgia Bulldogs, I think at that time, were ranked number 5 against the number 3 Clemson Tigers. Georgia Bulldogs end up winning that game 10-3. Banks, I'm going to just come out and say it, man, off the rip, and I'm going to get your feelings about this before we actually dive into it, man. I don't know if I was impressed. I don't know if I was really impressed. And I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan, man. Everybody knows me, know I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan. I rock with the dogs, man. I'm happy that we won. But at the same time, man, I don't know. I'm looking for more out of the dogs. No disrespect to Clemson. No disrespect to Clemson. But I just felt like I should have saw a better showing out of the dogs. And the reason I say that is, Banks, all of the 5-star recruits, everybody that Georgia has, all the expectations that we see they give Georgia nationally, man, I just felt like I should have saw a little more, man. Am I wrong for that, or how do you feel about it?
Dude, you tripping, bro. So number one, you did see something. You saw a defense go out there and pose their will. They kept Clemson to 3 points. Okay, this is Clemson Tigers. This is not South Carolina Gamecocks. This is the Clemson Tigers. They were ranked 3 for a reason. Let me tell you something. I don't know what you were looking for, but you're playing a top 3 school in the nation, and you held them to 3 points. Yeah, granted, you probably wanted to see Kirby go out there and go for the gusto and go out there and score 35 points, 40 points. You wasn't going to do that. Not on week 1. You just wasn't going to do that. I mean, both schools was amped up. They weren't taking no prisoners. Give Clemson a lot of credit, which is I don't think you are. They played good. They are one of the top defensive schools in the nation. No, you're not.
No disrespect.
Because you are you're disappointed because Georgia only scored 10 points. But you're forgetting the fact that they only gave up 3. Should have never gave up that 3 if it weren't for that one possession where they didn't blitz at all. Should have been 10-0. Should have been 10-0.
I mean, I guess I should be grateful that the Georgia won. They came out on top, man, moving into, the rest of the season, man, as they get ready for, the rest of their season going into the SEC schedule. But, man, it's just, I don't know, man. I guess the Nick Saban effect, man, really, really kind of throws me a little bit, man. And, Alabama, of course, played here in Atlanta in the kickoff classic, Mercedes-Benz against the Miami Hurricanes, a total just dismantling of the Hurricanes. But that's what Alabama is expected to do. I don't know how good Miami was projected to be, but Alabama came and did what they needed to do, and they did it, they did it how in Alabama fashion. So, I don't know if I'm making a comparison in my mind that Georgia should have been in and went in and put foot to butt to Clemson. And like you said, Banks, maybe I'm just underestimating Clemson. Or maybe I just feel like, Georgia, we talking about 41 years since we have a national title here in Georgia with the Bulldogs, man. I don't know. I think there's a sense of urgency with me now, man, and I'm just feeling like, yo, we got to get over the hump somewhere, man. We got to start to look like a perennial powerhouse national contender. I don't know how else the nation saw it. I mean, yeah, we did beat Clemson, but maybe it's still too early to tell week one. I don't know what I'm looking for, man. But you're saying that to just hold the course. You're saying we'll be okay.
We're gonna be all right, Leo. This is week one. Okay, this is going on the beginning of a college season. Enjoy the ride, brother. You're gonna see Alabama in December in Atlanta, Georgia. You're gonna have plenty of times to beat a team 47-0. Okay, it's gonna happen. All right. Clemson wasn't the team to do that on. They weren't gonna allow you to do that. So I get it. I hear you. You know, it's been 42 years. You know, I need to see something to make me feel good about this team. I mean, I guess, but guess what? It was a W. You know what I'm saying? No one had Georgia beating Clemson. Not a soul. Not
Well,
one.
I think Lee Corso.
No, he didn't. No,
he didn't. Okay, I mean,
no.
he didn't. He had Clemson pulling it out. Okay, my
He
bad.
had
So
Clemson winning. He had Curb Street. They all picked Clemson.
Okay.
So it's listen. It's all good.
Shout out to the
points.
Georgia. Okay. Shout out to the
points.
Georgia D.
They seven sacks, dude.
7 sacks.
7 sacks. So and a pick 6 to boot. So
yeah, I'm saying shout out to the Georgia defense that showed me a lot. Shout out to the Georgia defense that scored the only touchdown in the entire game and held it down. Offensively, if you want to look at JT Daniels, who's now has asserted himself as a starting quarterback, because let's be real about it, Banks. Georgia has had a QB problem for the last couple of seasons. I mean, you know, we had a couple of QBs that were solid, and then so now we moved into last season, going into the COVID season. We didn't know who was going to start. We had a couple of people there trying to figure it out. JT Daniels is the guy who ended up winning the position, who now moves into the starting role for this year. He goes 22 of 34, 135 yards and 1 interception. And like you alluded to earlier, Banks, Clemson has a great defense. But I guess offensively, man, we'll get into our stride and we'll get into our zone here in just a moment. But Zamir White had 74 yards on 13 carries. This is gonna be a running team. I don't know, man. I just felt like we should have saw a little more. But like I said, I'm gonna take the W. I'm gonna take the W, and we'll move forward, and we'll fight another week, and we'll continue to take this week by week. Banks, you making this crazy face at me.
I am, because I don't know what you're looking for, brother. I'm lost. I mean, we beat one of the top teams in college football, and you not happy about it. I guess, brother. I guess. To each his own. To each his own.
I should be happy about it, man. I should be saying let's move forward and let's do this thing. We beat Clemson. And let's move. But I don't know, man. I guess right now, man, the sense of urgency is like, okay, hey, man, yeah, we need to be there. We need to be getting ready for a national title. And I know week one is week one. We need to progress through the season. And we'll see how this all works out.
You can't win a national championship in week 2, brother. I hate to say it, bro. I mean, you got to actually play a season. So let's go ahead and take it a game at a time, brother. This is a marathon, brother. Let me tell you something. We're going to get our chance. We're going to get our chance. We're going to face Alabama. We're going to face probably Clemson again. We're going to get our chance, brother. We're going to get it. So
absolutely,
pull your reins back, brother.
I'm gonna be reserved, man. I'm gonna keep it and say, hey, you know what? Take the W, take the W, run, and see what the rest of the season is going to do. So. Week 1, we just talked about Georgia and Clemson. We had a couple of other matchups. We just talked about Alabama and Miami, which was just I don't even know if you want to talk about that.
It wasn't nothing. Miami tropical storms.
Yeah, Miami came in and laid an egg. I don't know what they did. After it was I know it was some talk earlier in the week. Miami's quarterback was like, we're gonna come out and beat Alabama. That didn't happen. They got embarrassed. It was bad. So another couple of matchups that we saw: UCLA, LSU. LSU goes out to California Rose Bowl. UCLA with Chip Kelly, man, beat LSU.
Impressive.
SEC team, man.
Impressive.
Wow, Another
Impressive.
another game, Florida State and Notre Dame. Notre Dame ends up coming back and winning that game in overtime against Florida State in
It
an
should
emotion.
never ever got to the point where they had to come back. Okay, I listen, and I apologize to anybody that's a Florida State fan. Again, you guys should never been in that game. You guys made a game, and then you did the most butt backwards thing I ever seen in my life. You know, at the field goal, you called a timeout, like you froze your own kicker. Like I mean, do you realize I think they gave him a mulligan. He actually made the kick, and you called timeout. I don't know. That's just such ass backwards thing I ever seen in my life. But I guess that's your
Crazy.
team.
Yeah. So Florida State, like I said, they go down to Notre Dame in that game, man. So look, I had a bunch of I got to shout out another matchup, Banks. Another matchup I got to shout out is Jackson State and FAMU down in Miami, man. Shout out prime time, man, coaching down there at Jackson State. They pull out hey, man, this was like the most entertaining and funny, even though the score wouldn't have said it, man. But this was an entertaining game. Banks, I don't know if you saw this game, man, but the only touchdown that was scored by Jackson State, right, was a defensive touchdown. The kid runs all the way down the field. I don't know if you're familiar. You familiar with Gilly, the rapper Gilly the Kid, whatever he calls himself these days?
Never. I'm not really too familiar with that, Leo.
Okay,
I'm too old.
okay. So anyway, there's a rapper named Gilly. If you go back, look at the clip, it's all over YouTube, it's all over the internet. Guys, you want to go check it out. Gilly is on the sideline for Jackson State. His kid's running down. He's about to score a touchdown. He runs with him all the way down the sideline. They end up getting a 15-yard personal. They end up getting a 15-yard penalty because this rapper runs down the sideline and then the player gives him the ball. He spikes it. It's on YouTube. I thought that was pretty entertaining. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so shout out to the HBCUs. Shout out to we had Fort Valley State, Tuskegee. They were on. Shout out to Fort Valley Wildcats beat Tuskegee. That was kind of big. It was a lot of games week one, man. That was pretty cool.
I would like to say that I will hope that this will be a launching pad for the networks to actually show more HBCUs football games. They're very entertaining. They're very entertaining. A lot of people are sleeping on them. You know, when you think about an HBCU football game, the first thing you think is the marching band. And that's all
Absolutely.
well and good. That's all well and good. But the football games are very entertaining.
Great athletes.
I challenge anybody that's watching this. If you have a chance to watch an HBCU football game,
please do.
Check it out. Check it out. It'll be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
And not to go off topic a little bit, man, there are a lot of classics, yearly HBCU games that are featured on national television. I think one of the biggest ones is one of the biggest HBCU games that's featured nationally and has been for quite some time is around the Thanksgiving weekend is the Bayou Classic with Southern and Grambling. That's been on NBC for, I know, a number of years. But now, like you said, Banks, we are starting to feature more. College Game Day was actually here in Atlanta for an HBCU kickoff game that featured, I want to say, it was North Carolina Central, if I'm not mistaken, and I forget who they actually played.
It was Alcorn State.
Alcorn State. North Carolina Central, Alcorn State. It was the MEAC SWAC Challenge down there. Game Day came and represented, man. So, yeah, shout out to the HBCUs, man, getting some love, man, nationally, man. Another game I want to talk. So, Banks, one more game before we move on and talk about something else, man, that I have to talk about because a lot of people that listen to the show and watch the show, they always say, well, you talk about Atlanta sports, but you don't talk about all the Atlanta teams, this, that, and the third. Okay, so yeah. So I'm going to talk about all the Atlanta teams. So week one, there was a game played down at Bobby Dodd, historic Grant Field, by the North Avenue Trade School, otherwise known as Georgia Tech. They played opening game against Northern Illinois, right? Right? Banks,
I guess, brother.
Why the face palm?
Because it's Northern Illinois, dude. It's Northern Illinois. Let me get on my soapbox right quick. For all you yellow jacket fans out there who always want to ridicule all the Bulldog fans, how about how many championships we got, blah 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 blah. Until you beat a real team, until you do that, until you are able to sell out your own stadium without having teams like Georgia take over your own stadium, until you can beat teams like Northern Illinois, please do not keep Georgia out of your mouth. Keep the Bulldogs out of your mouth and stay in your lane.
Hey
Stay in
man,
your
so
lane.
listen.
Your rival is Georgia State. That's who you supposed to play. Don't worry about these Georgia Bulldogs over here. Georgia Tech.
Hey
You
man, so
mind your
look.
own business and you figure out how you're gonna beat your next opponent.
So look, man. So look, Georgia Tech let Northern Illinois come in there. They paid Northern Illinois like $2 million to come in there and put
And
that
they
on them, man.
beat you. They came into your house and beat you.
Hey man, they let Bishop Sycamore come in there and beat them, man.
They beat you. Like,
Hey, that's sad, man. So look, man, I don't want to beat up on the boy too bad, man. I know. Shout out to
I
all my
will.
Georgia Tech fans, man.
I will. I will beat up on them because they deserve it, Leo. They've been talking mad trash to the Bulldogs every time something minute happens to the Bulldogs. They got something to say. Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. I'm talking to every 10 Georgia Tech fans out there. Hush your mouth.
All right, man.
Hush your mouth. Shut
All
up.
right, man. Look, man, we got a lot of friends of the show, man, that are Georgia Tech fans, man. So I don't want to go on in them too hard. Banks is on his. He's in rare form tonight. Banks is in rare form. So, yeah, week 1 college football. We'll come back for week 2, and we'll give a synopsis of a couple of the games that'll be featured in week 2. So let's move forward, Banks here, man. And let's keep going because we up against the clock, man. This game about to fire up in just a minute. What was next on the agenda with the outline for the night, man? What else we got going on
I
tonight?
wanted to speak on the Braves. I know we haven't spoken on the Braves in a while. I wanted to let people know that they came from is they were about 6.5 games back in the summer, about a month and a half ago. And all of a sudden, Ronald Acuna went down with a knee injury. And then they brought in some new, some new faces and a couple, and one old face. Jock Peterson, I think his name is his name escapes me. Jorge Solar. And we also had a Richard Rodriguez, and we pulled up a guy named how can I forget this guy? Adam Duvall.
Adam Duvall.
Listen, they went on the tear. Now, granted, there were lesser teams that they beat, but they beat them. They went up as much as 5.5 games, Leo. I'm looking at it like this. You turn it around without your star player. Now the current lead, I believe, is two games now.
2.5. So right now we're at 2.5 games right now.
You got to play the Nationals tonight. Well, Husker Inoue on the mound tonight. Leo, I wanted to throw it to you, man. I wanted to ask you a question about the Braves. Basically, what I wanted to say was going through this run that the Braves are doing. Do you feel that they can win a division now? Now, granted, the Philadelphia Phillies are on their heels. The Mets, they're not really dead yet per se. But do you think the way they've been in the playoff runs before, and they have that experience that they can go ahead and win this division?
Man, listen, this is Braves baseball at its finest, right? I mean, who would have imagined coming into the stretch now in what I like to call baseball that counts, that they would be playing their best ball? Like you said, Banks, we lost our best player, went out towards ACL, Ronald Acuna several weeks back. That was like shortly after the All-Star break. And we didn't know where this team would be. Shout out to Alex Anthopoulos for bringing in some much needed depth to help this team move it along. Because we were inching and bumbling and stumbling into the All-Star break. And like we had talked about before, Banks, get to the All-Star break after that, that's when the real baseball happens. We lose our best player. Alex Anthopoulos, the GM, says, okay, you know what? We need some help. Let's get a little bullpen help. Let's get some other guys out here that can help us out, warm up the bats. And man, they've done, because here's the thing. The wild card, getting the wild card spot is pretty much, you're not gonna do that, right? The West is crazy right now. You got the best teams in baseball in the NL West. You got the Giants, you got the Dodgers, you got the Padres. So you have to literally win the NL East if you want to make a postseason slot. And it's funny because I hate to say this, but the NL East right now is trash. It is trash. You got the Phillies and the Mets, and like you just said, Banks, the Phillies aren't. I don't know what the hell Philly doing. The Mets, they at 500 right now. You don't know what they're doing. The Marlins and the Nationals, they so far back, it's not even funny. So yeah, right now we're sitting 2.5, 2.5 games on top of the division. It's almost like just hold on. Just hold on. If you can hold on, win the division, get to the postseason, man, you get a brand new life. With that being said, Banks, if you can get into the postseason, man, with the roster that we currently have and with the players and how they've been playing, anything can happen. Anything can happen. You just got to get it. We talk about this in all the major sports. You just got to get into the dance, right?
Well,
You just got to get
look
into
at
the
it.
dance.
I look at it like this. I believe they'll make it. You're right. They need to win a division in order to make it. They're not making no wild cards because wild cards is already sold up in the West. I will say this. I think the experience should take over. We got some more favorable games coming up down the stretch. We actually have to play the Phillies by the end of this month, I believe. Leo, if they make the playoffs, and you said the quote that anything can happen once you're in, how far do you really feel they can go? Now, they went to the NLCS last year. They were up 3-1 in the Dodgers, and Dodgers came back and just went on the tear, and they won the championship. So, do you feel that this is just a setup year for next year, or do you think they can actually make something happen in this
Hey man,
postseason?
listen, man. You make the postseason. You make the postseason. You do what you do. Okay. At that point, man, you playing with house money. Well, we expected to be back with Ronald Acuna. I say yes. You were expected to be back and get a wild. We didn't expect, which is crazy because I'm looking at the NL West right now. You got the Giants that are just like playing monster baseball. You got the Dodgers right behind them, who are 2.5 games back. The Padres are not a team to sneeze at. And right now, they are 15.5 games back out of first place, and they're one of the best teams in the National League. So with that being said, man, it's like, yo, you in the NL East, and I know we just had a road trip, went out and played LA, didn't get the results that we wanted out there. But I mean, like I said, man, we weren't expected to go to the NLCS last year, and we gave the Dodgers all they wanted. And we've seen this before, Banks. It's new life. It's a new season when you get to the playoffs. So all I'm asking for these Braves to do right now is to limp into the playoffs. It's a beautiful thing when you know that once the playoff starts, we at 0-0, we do this all over again. So to answer your question is, I think they got a shot. I think they got a shot just like anybody else when the playoffs start, man. You just never know what can happen. You just never know what can happen, man. They might turn it on. We didn't expect for the Braves to even make it to the NLCS last year, and they did. So let's get there. Let's see what can happen when we get there, man. So right now, the task at hand is to win the NL East, which I think I think it'll happen. I don't want to jinx it, but I think it'll happen. Once we get into the dance, we get into the party, man. Let's go. Let's do this, man. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about it?
I listen after that speech there. I was pessimistic about it. I felt that the pitching wasn't there. I like Freed. I like Morton, but I think that's all we have. I don't care for Smiley. I'm lukewarm with Tuki Toussaint. It's like whatever our pitching give us is as far we're gonna go. And unfortunately, until this owners group, Liberty, whatever they are,
Media,
Spend some money.
Liberty
If
Media.
they spend some money, please,
Get some guys in here,
give
man.
us some guys in here so we can actually make a run with these Dodgers or with these Giants or whoever, and we can be comfortable and say we got a real good shot. Yeah, we got a shot, Leo. You're right, we do. We can get in and shock a lot of people. But realistically, with our pitching versus theirs, I don't know, brother. I don't know.
Like I said, it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm hoping all the best for the Braves, and we'll continue to monitor them, and we'll come back next week, and we'll see where they are going into the stretch in this NL East race, because they're gonna have to face. I think the Mets again. They're gonna have to face the Phillies again. Like you said, they're playing the Nationals as we speak tonight, who aren't playing very well. But you need to get these games against a division opponent, man, to pad your lead. So we'll see what's happening, man. So look, Banks, we're gonna move forward because once again we're up again. Like you yawning. Come on, dog, man. You can't be doing that and
Listen,
during the podcast, man. Come on,
I had three of these. Okay,
Three of
I'm
these.
sleepy. Okay, I'm sleepy.
I'm on this right here. You don't even want to know what this is. I'm not even gonna divulge what that is. But anyway, so we're gonna move into it, man, and we're gonna wrap the show up really, really quickly. Week 1 NFL, we just talked about that. Want to talk about a few things, man, but because we're kind of up against the mark, we're just gonna get into the meat of it. All right. Prediction for the night, really, really quickly, man, as we move forward. I guess as people will probably drop this episode tomorrow as people listen to this. So they can go back and listen to what we said because we're recording this before the actual game, Tampa against Dallas. Predictions for tonight, Banks. Give your prediction, I'll give mine.
I'm not picking those cowpokes. I'm not doing it. I don't care if they do win. I don't care. I'm not picking them. Tampa Bay wins.
All right. I'm going to say the same thing here. Tampa Bay wins tonight. Tampa Bay wins tonight in a rout. So I might have to come back and equal. I think Tampa Bay wins tonight 42-17 is the final score. I think Tampa is that. Yeah. I think Tampa, unfortunately, man, nothing changes with Tampa, man. This team basically comes right back. Everybody comes right back. I think they're going to click on all cylinders. I am definitely not a Cowgirls fan. I don't think the Cowgirls have any. Do you really feel that strongly about Dan Quinn's defense? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 42 to like 17. The Bucks. I hate to say that, but it is what it is. Cowgirls ain't getting nothing in 30 years, man.
I'm going to pick the lesser of two evils. Okay, like you said, I will hope they end in a tie, and I hope a tsunami come in and wash the game away. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to pick Tampa. You can't pay me to pick anything for Dallas or the Saints. That's just it for me. You're not going to give me.
I can't believe you put the S on it. I can't believe you put the S on that.
I give them an S before the season start, but you just believe once week 1 is over, they're back at the Aints. Yes, my New Orleans friends, you're the Aints.
Oh my God, man! Okay, so let's move into it. Week 1, let's talk about it. We're gonna talk about, of course, our Atlanta Falcons, man. Shout out to my man Banks rocking all white Steve Bartkowski tonight. Yes, he is. You see it. All right. So look, week 1. Before we get into the Falcons, before we talk a little bit about them, just want to give a couple of intriguing matchups to watch out for week 1. So Banks, we didn't talk about this in the outline, but I want you to really, really quickly. We'll talk about this. I'm gonna throw out my game of the week, and I just want you to basically tell me how you feel about the game of the week. Of course, outside of our Falcons, game of the week for week 1, in my opinion, is going to be Cleveland and Kansas City. Cleveland at Kansas City is my game of the week for week 1. And with that being said, Banks, really, really quickly, I want you to tell me how you feel about that game and where do you see that game ending? How do you see that game ending?
Cleveland and Kansas City. You got Cleveland that's an up and coming team that got a lot of people that think they're gonna win the division, and rightfully so. They really made a lot of strides with their team. Kansas City, same old with them. I see that Kansas City's still gonna pull out on top. I'm not sold on Cleveland to be that team yet. They could possibly be that team, but to beat Kansas City in Arrowhead, I don't. I can't. I could be totally wrong. They probably might go out there and beat the brakes off them, but I don't see it. I don't see it.
I see this being the better matchup of week one. I really do, man. I'm kind of impressed with Cleveland has been getting better and better and better, man. Baker Mayfield has kind of commanded the offense. Defense is pretty coming along pretty good. I think that this here's the thing. Cleveland plays in what I like to call the black and blue division of the NFL. Good God Almighty, man! The AFC North is that division. I mean, it has been the constant division that really just cannibalizes itself year in and year out. I mean, for a while, the NFC South was that division that had a lot of talent, and we were putting 2, 3 teams in the playoffs in the NFC South after with the Falcons, the Aints, and Carolina there for a while. Of course, now Tampa Bay has just thrusted themselves back into the mainstream. But the AFC North is brutal with the Steelers, with the Ravens. I hate to pick on the Bengals, but they just there for the ride. But still, with that being, you remember a couple of years ago, Banks, we played the AFC North and we went 0-4 against the AFC
I
North.
mean, got annihilated, dude. Like the whole entire division owned our offensive line. Like even the Bengals like pushed us around. Like that division is very, very tough. Like
I call it the black and blue division. I call it the blue collar. I call it the blue collar division, man, because you got the Browns and the Ravens. All those teams, man, they got teams that are blue collar teams, man. And they come out, man. They bring their lunch pail, and when you play them, you gonna know you play them. Whether you win or lose, you gonna know you been in a game against an AFC North team. Am I right or wrong? You gonna know
you are absolutely right, dude. Absolutely right. I don't want no parts of that division at all. So, seen it, been there, done that.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to go on a limb and say that the Kansas City Chiefs will prevail in this game, but I think it's going to be the game of the week. I think it's going to be a close game, closer than people think. I think, and I could be wrong, but hey, I think that Cleveland is going to give them a run for their money, but I think in the end, Kansas City is going to end up winning this game. So now, really, really quickly, as we come up against kickoff, because I see the themes and the banners, it's about to start, Bank. So we're gonna have to wrap this up. So really, really quickly, we had a lot of people were asking us for predictions with the Falcons going into the season. I don't like to do that. So what I'm gonna do, we gave our predictions last week for the Philadelphia Eagles game. We did do that. So what I'm going to do is tonight go back and revisit that and ask you now again, 2 weeks in, right into it, going into it. We'll be there Sunday afternoon. Do you still stand by your prediction that the Falcons will be victorious against the Eagles on Sunday?
I do, but not by a lot. I really have a lot of questions about my team right now. I don't know anything about them, and that's sad to say because we haven't seen anything, to give us a feel of what we're going to be expecting to see. I'm giving Arthur Smith the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving Dean Pease the benefit of the doubt that they'll have the team ready. And that's what I mean about it's going to be very, very close. Might be an overtime game. And it's going to be one of them games where you have to sweat it out. And I mean, that's where I think it's going.
Me personally, Banks, I don't see this being an overtime game. I don't. I see this game being a win for the Falcons, not a convincing win, but I do see this Falcons team. I go back to the score that I gave last week, which I think I said was 24-17. I'm going to change the score line, tweak it just a little bit, Banks. I say 28-24 now, Falcons winning this ball game on Sunday. I feel like it will be won within the 4 quarters. I just feel like, and the reason I feel like the Falcons are going to win this game Sunday, I feel like it's going to be this is a different philosophy. I think if it's one thing that the emphasis is going to be on, as you yawn in my face,
I'm sorry, dude. I'm so sorry.
Is finishing games. Do we have the talent to close everybody out we play? I don't know. But what I do think is there's going to be a big emphasis on finishing games, closing games, and winning games. And I think that Arthur Smith is going to have his first game as a coach here, a W, because I think that the emphasis is going to be on finishing games, closing games, and I think they'll do that Sunday against the Eagles. Go ahead, Banks.
It has to be, Leo. The philosophy of just finishing, coming from Dan Quinn. regime. Couldn't finish anything. A lot of games we had other teams coming back on us. And then you looking up at the scoreboard and lo and behold, the other team got the lead for some apparent reason. Like, how did that happen? Like, we were just up double touchdowns. It's just hopefully Arthur Smith, what I'm saying, everyone's going to look at him with a very, very strong magnifying glass if we are up by 10 or more in the fourth quarter, just to see what's different about this team. Because Lord help us if we're up by 10 or more and Philadelphia makes a run and they tied the game and it's like, here we go again. A lot of people just feel like, it's a curse. That's where the curse come from. So
Banks, I think that this is something that they know. Come on, man, this is no secret. I think this is something, believe it or not, I think this is something that they've been working on since Arthur Smith has got here, during camp, during, probably his first interactions with the team was to change the MO of this team and to change the way this team approaches games and being able to finish and win. So with that being said, Banks, like you said, yes, that's something we need to look for. I'm going to go ahead and put it on my back and say that Arthur Smith has made that a priority. So yes, if we do go up 10 points, I feel as though that these boys are going to have the mentality to close it out. That's one of the things that I'm hoping Arthur Smith has brought to the table. And I think that Arthur Blank wanted a coach that was going to be able to do that. So with that being said, I think the Falcons will prevail week 1. Really, really quickly, too early to tell week 2. Banks, I don't know if you knew this or not, but we go down to Tampa next week. We go down to Tampa on the road, Raymond James 405 kick. Before we close this podcast out, and we'll talk about this again next week, hopefully with Derek with us after we evaluate week 1 in the Eagles game. But going in, just off the rip, going to Tampa week 2, how do you feel about us going to Tampa? And you don't have to give me a prediction, but how do you feel about it? Because I'm gonna say one thing before I let you talk. Tom Brady is been undefeated against the Falcons for I think he is undefeated in his career against the Falcons. When are we gonna stand up and beat our chest and say, you know what, no more, no more? Is this when it happens, or do you feel like, you know what, Tampa they just a bit too much?
I don't like looking ahead before we play the game in front of us. I can't tell you. I don't know what to expect going down to Tampa. I don't know what we're going to show going against Philadelphia in our own house. Heaven forbids we lay an egg and we look like crap. How am I supposed to feel going down to Tampa playing the world champs? I mean, it's it's really kind of thing where it's like a wait and see with this fan base, man. It's like, you do something well, great, but show it again. Consistency. That's all I ask for. Consistency.
I got you.
I feel you with the Tom Brady thing. You were like, the longer he stay in the league, it's good for us to say we got another crack at this guy. We got to get at least one damn W. We gotta
put an L on this dude, man. We gotta put an L, dude. Literally, we gotta put an L on this dude, man, before he hang up his cleats, man. This dude cannot have a clean run against us before he hang his cleats up. I'm sorry. So, with that being said, man, I know we don't like to get too far ahead, but with that in mind, I say that's a lot of ammo to take into that game, man. And we'll see what happens. Coming up with the Eagles, I'll be there, you'll be there. So shout out that. Really, really quickly before we leave, Banks, tomorrow, Ben's Atlanta United against that team from Central Florida.
The Mickey Mouse team.
Is there, that Mickey Mouse team, man. We're going to do that, man. We'll talk about it a little bit off air, whether or not we're going to be in the building. But that's always a fun one. Man. So we're going to crank that thing up, man. Banks, it felt good, man. It's been a great podcast. Hopefully we get Derek back, man. Let the people know where they can holler at you, man.
You can find me at Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook and Baby Banks 80 on the gram. I'm having issues with my Twitter. So find me on Facebook or Instagram.
So look, people, Banks is still looking for a social media assistant. He is still looking for somebody that's going to come in and handle all of his social media accounts. He's taking application. So if you can catch him on the gram or catch him on Facebook, send him an application, man. He's looking for somebody that's gonna fill that role for him. He needs it. He needs it because he didn't want me to tell y'all this, man. He wants a TikTok and a Snapchat too. He just don't know how to really pull that off. But yeah, so he's trying to do that as well. So
Really
look,
do.
man,
Really.
you can catch us, man, on the Leo G Show on Twitter. The Leo G Show, the number one. That's at the Leo G Show, the number one on Twitter. You can also catch us on Facebook if you're still there, the Leo G Show. Also, you can catch me on Twitter, Southern Set with 2 T's. That's at Southern Set with 2 T's. I'm always there. I'm willing to talk sports, ATL, everything, man. Banks, we're gonna come back and do another episode, man. We're gonna talk about a couple other things that we talked about off air. We weren't able to squeeze in tonight. Go ahead, Banks, really quick.
And just to reminder everybody, please subscribe, you guys. Just at the bottom of the screen when you watch this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Once again, shout out to my man Big Rob. Shout out to Miyagi Beach. Shout out to our boy Derico, man. Hopefully he'll be back on the next episode. He will be back on the next episode. We're gonna go ahead and count it. You know what I'm saying? It's been another edition, man. We're gonna bring it back next week, man. We're gonna do what we do, man. All right.